doing now? We're working with each
Bridge.
other's images and just seeing how we
Okay,
can
So are we like critiquing it or saying
Okay, hold
what are we
that
doing?
thought. Import the other ones in, so everything is there.
They're raw, so there's not much
Yeah.
to critique.
No, but just composition or I don't know.
Okay, so the idea with these things, where this is really helpful, is we're going to go through each of these, and I'm going to be using Lightroom, Photoshop, Topaz, Nik, whatever's needed. The idea is just to give you guys ideas, tips, tricks, whatever. I'm screen recording this, so I'm going to give you the actual video of this. You don't have to take notes or anything.
So what you're doing is going to include both the critique
So
and
you're sending
technical.
us a video of this?
Yeah.
So I can go and sit over there and drink
No,
my wine.
I need no.
Nice try.
So we are going to just start random. Let me go. Is there dates? Capture time. Is that in order? That's from the beginning. Okay, let's start here. So the idea, we're going to talk about cropping first. I'm going to go through and crop everything. So that it helps us keep in a compositional mindset.
Okay.
From there, we'll start processing. Some of them we're going to spend 2 seconds on because it might not be worth it. Or what can we do with this and move on. Others, we might want to finesse a little bit more. So first, we're going to crop. I prefer to keep my X as the crop. I'll tell you why. You can hit O on the keyboard and it gives you all the overlays, right? Now we're used to the rule of thirds, which is that. Okay, it's boring. The one thing where I like this for is it speaks to the balance thing. Like if I balance something here, which way is this thing going to fall? Okay, so that's why I prefer this crop. Don't worry about the color cast or those things, we are just cropping. So the energy, we find this. Obviously the energy is side to side. Because that 16:9 enhances that because you're not giving your viewer the ability to move up and down in the frame. And we'll go down there. Let's just see what that looks like. Thoughts?
Much better.
Okay.
Too much, isn't it?
For what?
Too much on this side.
And I cropped more.
As far as balance goes?
Shows.
No,
As far as balance goes.
Balance is good. It's just the color.
So remember, just on
It's
the
just the
balance
highlights.
thing. Yeah, that we need. We'll panel beat that.
Yeah.
So this guy we're going to lift up. Even though he has a lot of weight to him, negative space and this blob of white has weight as well.
Right.
But we can tweak this later. What sometimes happens is if I have an image like this which feels balanced, if I lift him up and I push that back down, then suddenly the balance feels off again. Because now it's going in a direction. Okay. Next crop only. Wouldn't do too much here.
No.
I often try and keep to the, so on crop, I try and keep to the original ratio by keeping the padlock closed. But if needs be is to tweak it by opening the padlock, yes?
Yeah.
But I think for this one, as shot is pretty cool.
Pretty cool, yeah.
There, visual mask is open, so that's cool.
Oh yeah, similar.
Okay.
Nice.
So on this is as shot.
Are
Cup-
these by time? Did you sort them by time?
I think so, yeah.
That would explain.
Yeah. So the thing with something like this here is you also have to decide why you are cropping. If you're going to put this on Instagram, who's this?
Me.
Miriam. So you're not going to put it on Instagram. If someone else were going to put it on, on Instagram. So 4x5 is a very handy orientation for Instagram. 4x5
that's so
It's lovely.
Yeah.
is the largest.
Yeah.
So it gives us space. We've got breathing space around.
Yeah, not bad.
If we look at the theory of how we read art, so open, you find this. You
That's beautiful.
You kind of come up and then you'll circle. So there's enough space for us to circle around here.
It's beautiful.
Okay, so that's
Framing is
cool.
lovely.
Okay, cropping. So direction of energy is obviously there.
Yeah.
The balance now falls this way.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Because everything's going there. So if we keep the original ratio, let's see if that works better.
Yeah.
That works. Maybe. So for me, let's see, a little bit more. And then maybe lift it up a bit.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody happy?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Happy.
Okay. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the first, what comes to mind here?
That branch over his face, that bugged me.
Okay.
I think the background, I'd rather see it
Could stamp it out, Maria.
receded a bit.
Okay, so
Environment.
Or him
right?
popping
I quite like the environment.
Yeah.
100%. Okay, so we are not going to do this. People in wildlife, we often do this.
Yeah. No. Agree.
I'm so guilty of that.
Please don't.
I know. You know I'm good.
But there's two photos from this one shot, potentially, right?
Yeah. So if we do this, I'm going to create a virtual copy of this. My first crop, and let's quickly have a squiz and see, would be, I would want to have him kind of in the corner-ish down here with some space that way. My second one, whoopsie. Where is this now? Did we do that? This one, because of the way it flows, would be something like that, which gives you the scale of it.
I like that.
So if we look at those two next to each other,
oh, that's definitely the
prefer the
left.
left one,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
thoughts? Why though? Because there's a couple of, now we're going super subtle on this, but let's see. If you look at that, he's in there. Now, there's more at play, and this is where landscape photography starts teaching you things. Watch this. I'm going to use brushes to just show an example. Let's do that. Show the overlay. That's neutral. The size of my brush. Okay, so just watch. See the lines?
Yeah.
There's a lot of lines in this image, and everything takes us one way. That's why the longer crop works. So if we undo those, can you? These lines are subtle.
The layers. Yeah.
That's what layers in an image
Yeah.
does. So if I start looking at balance, we don't always see it, but again, there's one. Here's
clever,
one like
Gerry.
this.
Yeah.
There's even one there. So where does that energy go to? Flows that way.
And you can sing.
Amazing.
I didn't know you could sing.
That's
Okay.
next.
Yeah. So, but now that is where, if you start looking at genre specific stuff. So in an image like this, oopsie, right? Everything's going that way. It's just telling us to go there. So we like that crop, yes?
Yeah.
So let's get rid of that one. Right. Okay. Crop. Obviously, this is wasted space. So we need to see what we're going to do with this. First thought is, so if I'm going to keep my original ratio, hit X twice, and it gives us that space. So now the thought would be, let me just see what that happens.
Well, the limbs are
Yeah.
cut anyway.
So, 100%. So if I'm going to open my crop and do this,
Oh, no, they're not.
okay? So now the question now becomes, where's the energy going? Because a square crop, which is nothing wrong with, square crop puts stuff in the middle. If you look at art, Rembrandt and all of them, they put stuff dead in the center of their frames. And the square crop enhances that. That doesn't work here. So we might have to then go a little bit more intentional and crop stuff in a different way.
I would lift it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe give him some more breathing space. Something like that. So I'm just looking for the fine balance. Okay, so that to me, that's my thought, because if we look at the original, that's wasted space. The square seems wasted because everything's going this way and the bottom seems meh. But by doing that, it's at least something from it. Thoughts?
Yeah, and that baby's in focus.
It also, there's also you're cropping these things off. Like I think, Ira, you said, if you do this, it's not intentional.
No.
You have to be intentional with the crop. So I think that is probably the best out of that.
Yeah.
Okay, cropping. Okay, so let's see what you guys think. I'm going to do this again so we can just check it. See what's happening here. Where is the energy going in this thing? Once you start thinking, sorry, I'm not doing this very well, but get the idea. There's a
All
lot of...
over.
That's a whole bloody maze.
Okay,
Yeah.
but what's happening?
It's framing.
Your
Square.
eyes moving
Square.
around, yeah.
Okay, so if we delete all those and then, oopsie, and then crop this. So let's try a square and see, and put him in a cage.
It is all about him.
Maybe a squish more there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Okay, so what happens here? You are not. What's happening? You've got all of this stuff in here. In the forest, even if you get to leopards in a tree, the tree will also give you lines and shapes deeper. So instead of going and trying to fight it, try and go with it. See what it does. Here, the thought here is I could probably squeeze a little bit more in here, but I don't want to include that.
Yeah.
Because that breaks my attention off, yeah? So something like that. And again, remember, this is not. It might not be the best shot in the world ever as far as heroes go, but it's a good part of a portfolio. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Finished. Was it yours, my darling? Sorry, I didn't.
Okay, let's see.
Yes.
Jonathan.
You're sleeping on the balcony.
You are
tonight.
so.
Yeah, exactly.
No, in the bath.
Okay, so tough one because there's not a lot to do. So let's just start and see.
You can see the baby.
Yes, you can. He's got eyes.
Okay.
and everything.
Gollum.
So yeah, got him. So from a cropping point of view, right? Just undo this, reset. So from a cropping point of view, this is wasted.
Yeah.
We know that.
Totally.
That is a concern,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. You can only shoot what you see. If this was your only baby shot and you want to keep it, then let's start isolating down to this first and see what happens. Okay.
Take that thing out from the top, no?
Lose this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Or keep it in like properly.
Better.
I like it in actually.
Do you?
Yeah.
Again, you've got
Yeah.
framing and stuff happening here. Now, I wouldn't. You could go ridiculous and crop it to just that.
Oh no.
Okay. But if this was your only baby shot, I would leave the crop here because then afterwards I can come and isolate him and try and lift him up as much as I can.
Yeah.
Not a hero shot, but we can make something of it as this was the baby in mom's environment. But that's not going to do more.
Oh.
Oh, it's this guy.
Sure. That,
That's also mine.
very cool.
I know. I knew it was. That's why I said it's very cool. So I'm out the bath.
You're back in the balcony.
You're out the bath, darling.
Okay, so talking about crop here.
I would not crop this a
Yeah.
lot. So
Oh.
I would
No.
take a little bit away from here.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
And I like that.
So.
But you
this-
can't take too much away because then it's going to look unbalanced.
What about the height? Would you take?
Okay, so two things. If we look at, you have to protect the frame, right? So this is another. So I'm agreeing. Let's take a little bit of this side just from a balance point of view.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Okay. This here is quite. It compromises the frame in a little bit. It's very bright on the edge.
Yeah.
So
Agree.
anywhere close to the edge on corners is not necessarily great. So if we then just do that as well,
in, yeah.
wouldn't change more.
I would lift a tiny bit.
Okay. But would you open the padlock or would you keep it? Because otherwise it pulls the whole thing in.
Oh, I see. Not necessary. No,
Well, you can do.
Well, you can, but
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's nice. So now it's clean. Corners are way cleaner.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Same scene, different angle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So out of interest, let's see what's happening here. I'm just trying to show
So also
Yeah.
a lot of stuff happening here.
Yeah.
where is. So often when you do this, we can see if there's an energy going through the frame. You got this. Okay, this we're probably going to crop off, but it's there.
Yeah.
Now, is it going to change all of them? Damn it, it does. Where's he looking to?
This way. Yeah. So you crop there.
So I'm not getting a specific direction here.
You're going to go up that way.
Yeah, so probably bring it in from this side.
Yeah.
So let's lose those and see. Oopsie. So we crop in. I want to just see.
Yeah.
Maybe my only concern is this. I like the look of this side more
Yeah, I
than that
don't
side.
like that side. Yeah.
So this is creating a nice little frame thing happening here. My first gut was to put it in from here. Let's now see the opposite. If
All right, I
we
see
do
what you're saying. This whole frame.
this stuff is
Yeah.
better.
Yeah,
Then
I agree.
Yeah, you wanna.
Yeah, I agree.
So include a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we
Absolutely.
framed him in the frame.
Yeah. No, love that.
That's very cool.
That's
Is that?
That's mine.
Well
Yes.
done.
Thank you.
And Miriam,
I'm gutted I didn't see him.
that's cool.
Instagram.
Okay.
Oh wow, this is.
So
You will know by later.
wouldn't do a lot of this. Just pull it in a bit.
Yeah.
Because don't try and lose that.
Quite
It's too big,
nice, yeah.
and
I
that is a nice. So again, I know I'm milking this, but if you look at what happens from a linear point of view, right? Lots of lines, which is nice. We like the linear aspect of it. Okay, like that. What's going on here? Baba. Okay, so this is about baby. Let's see if we do. Let's see what happens.
Baby and mummy.
Yeah. Again, it would depend on why and what we're shooting for. Ooh, tough one. Let's see, 4x5.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Now
good.
we're getting
Oh,
somewhere. That's probably, again, as with the other baby one, if this is your only baby shot. So cropping is step one. Then it will be later on to isolate baby and just try and make it a bit more visual while pushing everything else back. You can only shoot what you see.
Yeah.
So that's what we're dealing with. Huh? Is this Baba again? Yeah.
Oh, on the way down.
didn't even
yeah,
see the
yeah,
Baba.
yeah.
Okay, this feels to me quite straightforward. It's not a hell of a lot to do here. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, we shouldn't compare hero shot with portfolio shot.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, so there's the crops, quick and easy. So sorry, I have to try something here on this.
Yeah, it almost looks
It
upside
feels
down.
like you should be that way.
Agree.
Okay, thoughts on crops? Any questions there?
Yeah. Cool.
No.
But think this is a very good example of there's these subtle things happening in every single scene. Clouds in the Masai Mara or in Africa, you always have the clouds pointing somewhere. So if you've got clouds coming in, look for something here. They're always guiding you across. Okay, starting here. Let's see. Okay, basic development. Now, I'm not going to do the same thing on all of them. We'll kind of jump straight to the point. On this one, there is a color cast happening in this thing. Can you guys see that?
Yellow.
Yeah.
It's yellowy green on that. I'm going to ignore it for now and do the basics first. So let's go straight. That is very
Does it matter
harsh.
when you do the color cast in your usual
No.
workflow? Okay.
No. So let's just see what's happening here. There is blacks. There is whites. We're not going to get rid of the whites. They are burnt.
Yep.
So hold on to that thought. Shadows, lift him up a little bit. You're not going to get rid of this. This is gone.
It's one of the reasons I crop closer,
Okay.
actually.
All right.
I know there are other
When
reasons.
when you have a situation like this where it's a pretty cool scene overall, but there's a lot of stuff lost in the whites and all the blacks, just consider because monochrome's way more forgiving for burnt whites and blacks. It actually wants it. Okay, so let's just run with this and see what comes out of it. Now I can go select subject. Let's see what it gives us. Please don't do the tree.
Yeah.
Great success.
Wow.
Okay, so first focus on him. Lift the shadow up a bit. So contrast makes darks darker, lights lighter, and then lift the whites on him, which pops the everything else. Okay, a little bit of clarity. Okay, so if we just see there. Okay, pop. I'm now looking at it as a monochrome. I'm not looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that. Let's try this again. See what the background does. Select subject. Invert. Where's my invert? There. There. Now I'm going to try dehaze. Dehaze has uses apart from sky. It's a little bit more advanced, but we'll try and see what happens because it earths it anchors these things for us. Okay, I would maybe just do that. If I go back to my subject and push him up a little bit. Okay, so for an image like this, there are other ones with color cast. I would probably leave this here. It's not the kind of image I'm going to spend hours on trying to get right. I've gotten to the point where it's fine, it is what it is, move on. You can very easily get stuck and just keep on going and going and going
And
and
trying
going.
to
Make
can't-
something
change
out
and
of
change
nothing.
and change.
You can't polish a
What's
turd.
not there.
Yeah.
You got- yeah.
Yeah.
So there's too many. Other
It's not a
things
turd.
happening.
Sorry, that sounds. Whose is this?
It's
But
my,
yeah.
no, it's the
But
one,
it is what it
one
is.
of two I was thinking of something that
So?
I
Could
didn't know
you
if I
crop
could
it
do anything
there and
with.
You
get rid
could.
of
Yeah.
get rid of all of that
So-
and maybe make it better?
You could maybe. It looks a little bit soft, so you would have to then sharpen and.
Okay. Yeah.
But I want to just show you here color grading. So if you were to inject, so there was split toning in the old days, where you could add a color cast either to the lights or the darks, right? So this here is the new way to do it. This is midtones, shadows, and highlights. So if I wanted to inject into the shadows a little bit of blue, for example. I would say there's blue, and then the closer this thing comes. So that's the ultimate. But I'm just injecting a little bit of blue tone into it, which softens up a monochrome very nicely. So that's without and with. Without.
Oh, I love that.
And with.
Yeah.
So
Like
that's
a sepia almost, but
yeah,
not quite.
100%. So any monochrome that you go, especially you go the hardcore monochromes, this works really well.
You need to set the
So,
table.
so what do you do?
Can you give us 15 minutes?
15 minutes?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Thank you.
So you went
So
to
okay, let's see.
the third circle.
So you decide. This is shadows. I want to. If you subtle shadows, there's more highlights. If you want to do a sepia, it's normally about a 35. So if you look at your number here, 35, and then you can push that in. So there's your sepia tones coming through.
Okay.
Okay, that's just on that one. All right. Next one. Okay, there's also a color cast in this. So for the purposes of now, I'm going to take this straight into Photoshop for two reasons. I can do Nick there and I can do Topaz there. So we'll see what we can do with this. Okay, because it is a little bit soft. So let's see what we can do with it. I just want to try and give you guys as much different things.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. Go.
Can you do Photoshop from Lightroom too? Not Photoshop, Topaz from
Yes.
Lightroom.
Yeah, you can do all of them from there. Okay, so the first thing, there's a green color cast. So filter, Nick, color effects. This is the same from Lightroom as if you were to go right click like you do it. Yeah. Okay, so the color cast would be under Pro Contrast over there. At the top here, correct color cast. If I just slide this up,
Oh wow.
see, green cast, no green cast.
Oh my god.
It is amazing. Dynamic contrast would punch the contrast a little bit more on this from a bright lock. That one makes it darker. But for now, the point here is make sure you check the color cast. Anything that's black inside. You even get color casts on leopards sometimes, where if they're in a green bush
Look orange.
and there's light, they get a bit of greeny yellow to them, which is unnatural. This color cast, you just slide it up and it does its thing.
And that's Nick.
That's Nick filters, yeah. Okay, so let's see what we can do if we can sharpen this thing up a bit. Okay, so
And you wouldn't sharpen a Nick.
you could. I'll use some of the others. So
Okay.
that's before and after.
Okay.
Huge difference.
Huge.
Okay, so now I'm going to put
All
this
of them.
into Topaz,
I know,
sharpen.
please, before you do that, please
Yes.
show me how to sharpen on Nick.
Okay, I'm going to choose a different one for that.
Okay. Okay.
To be honest,
okay,
I don't
okay,
think Nick's going to save this one.
Okay.
Nick would be up to about 85-90% of what Topaz can do. This is an extreme case. Okay, so filters, I'll use one of the other ones. Topaz, sharpen. I'm just curious actually to see
Okay.
what it can do. Okay, thinking.
And how do you get Topaz? You just download.
Yeah, topazlabs.com. Okay, so that's what it did with it.
Oh, is it done already?
Yeah.
So it's every time you use it, it can be a bit slow, but it's very powerful. It's thinking down here. Suspense is killing me.
So does it all do it in one big bang opposed to gradually?
Yeah, so it calculates everything, and then it
then
pops
will
it.
do it.
So if you look at before, after, before, after. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
so it can bring it back. You might have to run it a couple of times. That's on standard. Let us go very blurry and just see. So it's very intuitive. You can tailor make each of these, but
So that is how you would describe the image before sharpening.
what's that?
Like very blurry.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what that column is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so again, that would be, you can fine tune this, but this one, it gets the fur back, but the eyes I think are a little bit soft. Okay, so again, you could probably, this would work for Instagram. No jokes. You could sharpen this and put it on Instagram because it's small. Right. So, let's go back to Lightroom. Okay, processing. Okay, as this one popped up, I feel there's a balance issue on the right. I want to
Oh.
tweak this in a little bit. It just feels like there's a lot of, because this is nice and intimate, there's a bit of a gap there. Thoughts?
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
just a touch better.
Yeah.
Okay. Image like this, Jashika, we spoke about it. It's not one that's going to demand a lot of attention because it's already really good.
This is Miriam's.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we just had that
Oh
chat.
yeah.
if anything, and you can do it as a radial filter, I would just do that. So what that does,
Yeah.
again, a vignette in the old days when they did it and they burnt it into the thing was supposed to keep the viewer's gaze in the middle.
So where is that, sorry, Gerry? In effects?
Under effect, post crop vignette.
And you just do
And you
the
just take it down a
amount.
bit, yeah.
Okay.
So in the old days they did this, my old photos.
Yeah.
It was to keep your eye in the middle.
Yeah.
That's why we have vignettes. But that
So you don't use feather, Gerry. You just vignette.
So on this one here, you can feather it, but I'm not gonna go to the point where I need to.
Okay.
So
And it's because I found that I used to go a little bit heavier than feather it.
yeah.
Now
So
I just go to where it needs to go. I
Normally-
don't worry about feathering.
agreed. Yeah. If you go more than 15,
Yeah.
more than minus 15, it becomes a
Yeah.
bit much.
Yeah.
But that as a very quick edit, it's a great.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't need anything.
No.
Yeah,
Really
it's
doesn't.
brilliant.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go on to
He's
this
messy,
one.
isn't
Messy boy. So do the basics quickly. Over there. Texture. So again, see the color cast.
he?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'll do, I'll take him into Photoshop now. Let me just get rid of this
Is
dude.
that because your camera is set to something?
It could be. Let me check the white balance.
Because that's what.
Okay,
Yeah.
but let's just play here for a second. No, not brush. The subject.
So could you do the same thing by changing the white balance in Lightroom?
We're going to try that. It's quite extreme, but we'll try now. So exposure just down a touch. Okay, that's cool for now. Done. So if I had to do the white balance here, is there any pure white in this image?
The top?
Not really there. So white balance you can obviously do by doing this. Your tint is based on making it greener or that way. So it can almost do it, but it's just less subtle. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you sharpening and in neck. So let's do this over here. Oh, stop that. I did that. Bouncing it across. Spinning wheel of death. Okay, straight in quickly. Filter, neck, color effects. I don't know that color cast. Said from the beginning, it's something that Lightroom should buy because it's so good, and put it in the stock standard thing. Pro contrast, and here we go. You have
Oh,
got.
you have
I
to
did
move
this
the
one. It
thing.
makes
So
a
this is your
huge
before and
difference.
after slider. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if we just do the color cast up. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
incredible.
yes.
See.
Huge difference.
All right. And then the sharpener. So there's two sharpeners to neck. The cool thing with neck in Photoshop, it adds a layer each time. So in Photoshop, in Lightroom, it adds a new image each time. Now it's just a layer at a time. So filter, neck, there's these two. There's raw pre-sharpener and there's output sharpener. Output sharpener is for if you're going to print something and you know exactly why you want to use it. Like I want to print it on canvas. The pre-sharpener is the one that for most of us, just as an export or for social media or whatever, is really good. Let it just run.
Do you sharpen for social media in Lightroom? Or
I sharpen for high
Oh.
res finding now. Look, I've changed a lot of my own stuff since starting down the landscape. I've done a deep dive on that. I sharpen for high res because it's easier to scale down than up. Yeah?
Okay.
All right, so the sharpening in this is pretty simple. Adaptive sharpening, focus on the areas there or the high ISO. So let's go into face. All right, so it's already done its thing. Watch, if I take my slidey, oh goodness, almost grab that. Come on. Why can't I grab it? Before and after. So top, before, after. So if you're gonna, so adaptive sharpening, the percentage, if I go all the way, it's gonna be over sharpened, but that's there. So here you pick the amount of sharpening,
I see. Okay.
and down here you can say sharpen the areas, which then it looks for smooth areas, or sharpen the edges, which is more heavy than on the texture. If it's a high ISO image, you can click that, and then it takes noise into account as well. It is actually really, really effective. So if you are, I don't know why I can't grab this thing, but you get the idea, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. So let's do that. And if I were to then zoom in here, oh God, sorry. If I were to come into this and say before and after, that's Before, after. So, very effective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Topaz just takes it to a completely new level. So if you're looking for one filter, it's probably Nick, because it does noise reduction and color cast and silver effects and everything. Questions? Good?
Yeah, good.
Topaz does noise reduction, right?
Topaz does, there's two. There's noise and there's sharpening.
Oh, okay.
Okay, next one. Okay, this to me also I don't think we need to do a hell of a lot with, because it's a nice shot to start with.
It's just a brush, maybe.
What would you brush with?
Oh, I would take the twig away.
Oh, this.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
Just the one.
So let's do him a little bit up. Another one. Select the subject. Let's flip it around. And on this, I would be tempted to increase the saturation of the jungle. Not to that, but just a little bit. Maybe make it a little bit darker. And in this instance, I would actually push my clarity up, because it's nice to see the textures.
And highlights? Or
Doesn't.
not?
So if I look
Oh,
here,
yeah, you showed me that.
doesn't really bother
yeah,
me.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so there's that. As a very quick exercise, if I want to do this, so I'm going to just try and clean this up, just for people to see what's possible.
I learned this today.
Yes.
Would you call this an environmental shot, though?
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Okay, so I am going to then say, okay, let's use the lasso tool on this
Yeah, because
first.
you could leave the green leaf.
If I just do this. Yeah,
And then it's just that bit.
let's just see what it does with this. Okay, that's a bit bad. Do it properly.
Wow.
No,
See,
man.
so at that level,
Hey?
okay,
Yeah,
so
you
at that
can't
level.
see it.
No, it's pretty.
Okay, then on this, just again, I'm just trying to throw stuff at you guys here. Topaz, if I want to then sharpen just him, someone asked about this, you can mask inside of Topaz and say just do him. So, because I wouldn't want to sharpen the bush even more.
Yeah.
So if I bring him over here, how do I do this again? I should know this. Click, oopsie, click on the mask. It's pretty intuitive if I do just that. Then it finds edges kind of more or less and say apply. That's the area I'm going towards. Let's do standard and go in a little bit to just see what it does with it.
Looks like he's smiling.
It's thinking still down
Got
here.
a smug look on his face.
Yeah. Okay, not bad. So before, after, you can just see it a little bit coming in the eyes.
Yeah.
I would probably run.
Subtle, but yeah.
I would run noise reduction on this as well, because it'll smoothen up the nose and stuff. But the more idea there was you could take stuff away pretty easily in Photoshop. Okay, while that's thinking, let's go back here. Very cool. Hello. Where are we here? Okay, so I'm going to just, in this, it's already the sharper area. So we're not going to do a full one, but what I would be doing here is I would do that. Sorry, everything's thinking now. And I would pick up the texture and clarity in him.
Yeah.
So that obviously does that. Yeah. And then, for lack of a better term, I would then try and soften the rest of it. An easy way to do it could be this. So I'm affecting that part of it.
Would you do a radial? Oh, because you want to do it.
I'll do
harder.
the whole thing, yeah.
okay.
And I would probably add onto it with a brush by doing that. And then on that part of it, I might do that, and I might drop the texture and clarity. So the focus is just more on the baby.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, not a lot to do. Easy one. So again, this is not one we're going to spend an obscene amount of time on. I would do that. I would flip it, and we would push just that, not that here. Maybe there. Make him pop a bit. And you can finesse it a little bit, but just going broad strokes, yeah? Let's see here. Okay, I will do the same as with the baby. Sharpen him up and soften everything else.
Yeah.
Not too much else there. Okay, this we need to look at. This is cool. So, we've already lost. So if I look at clipping, those red areas is gone. There's no detail there. So we can pull that back, see if we can get anything of that back. Okay, so there, now the clipping's gone. All right, we are going to want to do, select the subject on that, flip it, and now see this background. So Ari, you say you wanted lighter.
I wanted to turn those into like golden lights.
So it's yellow and green. You've got to play with
Yeah.
the colours.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do that now. And then I'm going to drop the, okay, we'll do that as a separate. I'll show you how to do that.
Okay.
Let's just do the subject. That's cool. Push some whites up on him. See, the whites maintains black. It just gives it more life.
Would you do anything with shadows? No.
Not really.
No,
I mean, you
okay.
could maybe push it down a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I would also lift the face a tweak, but let's just look at the background. It's an interesting one. If I were to go, okay, so let's think about this. We're going to put a brush on that. You said you want it to be golden.
Yeah.
So let's first of all increase the temperature and increase the I'm trying here, let's see.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll work.
That would be the way to get gold in it, unless you start photoshopping. So if you look at that,
That's too much, hey?
Yeah.
then we can turn it back. So if you look at that one now,
Yeah.
see, you're just coming through
A
some of the
little
greens.
bit, yeah. That's
Yeah.
better. Go wide. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's better.
That's better.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be yellow
No.
and look
That's cool.
unnatural, but it's just, yeah. brings
Very
through,
nice.
yeah. Okay. Perfect.
I love this. All the things. This is quite a moody thing for me. So if we were to do,
Darker background.
yeah, 100%, because it's very moody. It's already quite dark. So let's
And
flip
a bit
it.
green, like darker green.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
olive almost.
Yeah. There. So let's push things. Okay, greens we can do there. Let's take the shadows further down. 'Cause it gives me that jungle feeling. It's like deep in the jungle type vibe. Maybe not that much. Then outside of my brush, I would come down to color, select green, and here you can do the luminance of the greens.
Yeah.
So you can tone just the luminance down, you can increase it a little bit, and even go really funky jungle. Okay, but yeah, the luminance there for me would be quite a
Yeah, that's
That's a
cool.
great one.
very cool.
It's again the color cast, maybe, no?
Yeah,
It's me. Yeah.
we must check
Yeah,
your.
your
I will.
camera.
So
That
if
was
you
auto.
pull back there a little bit. Blacks comes in when you're just going on feel. I wonder. So I'm asking a question myself here. I wonder if I do select subject and him, and I drop the saturation because he's black already. Will that take the color cast away? No, it makes him look grey.
Yeah.
So processing wise, I wouldn't do a hell of a lot. Remove the color cast. Otherwise, it's a nice document shot. This highlight here you could tone down, but as a global,
As global.
yeah, I wouldn't isolate that because it's everywhere.
Okay.
See, so the exposure down, that even looks better.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, and then your color cast is not too bad.
Now I know it
Nice.
takes
Lots of it
seconds.
yellowy, but not.
Yeah.
Mm.
It takes seconds to get rid of it,
Yeah.
so I would do that. You don't have to.
So okay, that again, I would push mom
Yeah.
back,
yeah,
push
yeah.
baby forward.
Same with that one.
Same with that one.
Yeah.
And there you go. Any questions?
No, that was really.
Yeah.
Did you?
Thank you.
Oh, you did show noise reduction. In
Yeah.
this. Okay.
So
Yeah, no, amazing.
that would
Thank you,
be
Gerry.
that. So what I'll do is I'll save this.